Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now, last episode we made a lot of progress towards our next tier of ores and we finally got redstone unlocked. So that means that we can start creating a whole bunch of new machines in the next tier of research. But before we get to that, I want to start setting up some automation of moving things around so that we don't have to keep manually moving resources. So with no further ado, let's dive right in. At this point, we have only automated things coming out of our jumbo furnace. We haven't automated any of our recipes for the ingredients going into it. And I think that is a good place for us to start this exercise. Now, I think you all know that I hate sushi belts. That is one of my least favorite things to do, is to just put all of the various items on a single belt, because you end up having weird backups when you do that. So we're going to start with trying to run our iron over to that. I think that's the furthest away that we have right now, except for the redstone. So that's going to be a little bit of a pain, but I think it'll work fine. So let's start running some of our conveyor belts out that way. So we want it to run out of this drawer here. And we do have an extracting conveyor belt to help us along the way with that. And we're going to want to run it up and over. So let's see here. Let's give ourselves some more planks, like so. And I think it's going to run out this side of it, and then up and over. So to make this corner work, we need to go with this direction, and then we need to go up. So that should go up for us. And now we just need to have our extracting conveyor belt on this side. Now I'm not going to set that up yet because I'm going to finish setting up the rest of these belts first. And I think I can connect these up so that they don't actually, you don't actually need anything underneath these conveyor belts, which is a really, really nice part of it. Okay, so there's the start of our system here. And now we need to put some hoppers, wooden hoppers going down. So I think what we'll do is we'll put our storage drawers on this as well, like so. I think that'll work. And now we just need to make sure that our, there we go. Our conveyor belts are going into that. And now if we click on the back of this, all of these should continue going in the same direction here. That's a nice little addition. If you click on the front, they don't always go in the right direction. That's something of a problem here. All right, so because this has the same storage capacity as the belt on the other end, or excuse me, the storage drawer on the other end, this shouldn't ever overflow. It should be able to hold exactly as many coming out as it has going in. And that should retain some sort of a balance. I think. I could be wrong on that, but we're going to try it. So those are shooting on down this way and into this series of machines here. And that should go then into the storage container right here. And then that should get sucked into the wooden hopper instantly. So with any luck, we should start seeing the iron ore start to increase. There you go. Slowly coming in. And that's going to start cooking down. And since our jumbo furnace is pretty much maxed out, that should always go a little faster than, as far as it should be cooking a little faster than the pieces coming in. So that should balance out. The only thing that might be a problem here eventually is that this drawer might eventually be full, but I'm not worried about that right now. So I'm going to keep repeating this process with our other ores here. All right, and there is our finished belt monstrosity. All 7 of our ore types are now going into this hopper system that we have designed here. I have 2 extra slots left over, and this works really nicely because we have a 3x3 input here, and we have a set of 9 slots all together here in the jumbo furnace. This should self-sort itself out. It looks like occasionally we're going to have a couple of like backup blocks here, but it should smooth out and we shouldn't have to worry about anything getting all jumbly here or backed up. It should eventually be able to clear itself out. So yeah, this is working pretty nicely. It's smelting very quickly because we have 32 jumbo furnaces in here for smelting items at once, which is more than we ever back up on at any given time. So yeah, the only real backup here is on this side actually. And I'm going to clean this up real quick too here by adding another couple of inputs this way. Let's do this, and let's go ahead and break this one. And now let's make our belt go this way. And by doing that, it should clear up any bottlenecks that we have. Yeah, there we go. So items aren't going to be inserting here any faster than I think the wooden hoppers are going to be able to put. So yeah, that works real great. All right, with that done, we need to move on to the next quest section. Now, I will admit the next one here that they have for us is Little Logistics, but I am not really a fan of Little Logistics. I don't find it very useful, especially in a Skyblock pack. What this basically does is create a series of small vehicles, like a mini steam locomotive and a mini steam tug, and you can add chests onto those that we can use to move around our various items. So chest train car, a fluid tank train car, etc. These are fine, but I'm just not a fan of this. I don't love this as a mod. I'd much rather use a big create train than these itsy bitsy little teeny tiny trains on a standard rail track. So we are not going to skip it because these are actually all optional. As you can see here, every one of these is an optional quest. So we're not going to waste our time on it. Instead, we're going to jump right into the big machines. I like to hear the roar of the big machines. So to that end, we are going to start looking at these LV wire cables, which again are real simple for us here. We can apparently make some engineer's wire cutters now that we have some iron. So that's the standard recipe. It doesn't look like that has changed any. And then the other thing that we're going to do here is start working towards making a metal press. And I think we have just about everything that we need to be able to make the metal press here. So we're going to need to make a little bit more of our basic technium, which we can do pretty easily. We're going to get some more research papers now that I have a sugarcane farm. It's really easy to get paper and make research papers. And then we're going to grab some redstone out of our storage here. And I think we have, yeah, a whole bunch of redstone now that we started automating this. So let's grab all of those things up and unlock this real quick. There is our technium and our redstone, and we can now unlock the metal press. There we go. And we get a whole bunch of pieces off of that. I think this is almost everything we need to make the metal press, but we can look it up in our engineer's manual real quick. Now, while we're at it, let's just grab ourselves up one piece of iron and some of our sticks here and make ourselves our engineer's wire cutters as well. There we go. We'll need those. Let's drop those sticks back in and pick up our engineer's hammer. Let's take a look at our engineer's manual and make sure we know how to make a metal press. It has been a little while since we have had to make one of these. We had upgraded in the last machine and gotten away from that. I think it's a heavy machinery technically. Right, so we need 2 steel scaffolding. And then we need 2 conveyor belts, a piston, a light engineering block, and a redstone engineering block. So I think we have everything but the steel scaffolding. Okay, easy enough. We can make steel scaffolding, no problem. So we drop our steel block there, and then I think we need some steel rods. So let's see, steel scaffold, there we go. And yeah, that's the recipe we want. Perfect. Okay, so we are gonna put this together, but you know what? We can't actually put this together just yet because we don't have a way to power it. So let's put that on hold. We've got the metal press stuff. We're good to go on that. But what we really need to do is start putting together our copper so that we can make those copper wires. Let's do, oh, is that not how we do it? Oh, it looks like we can't make copper sheets in this pack. That's an interesting choice. I don't love that choice. So let's go ahead and grab back up our sticks here. We need regular sticks, not treated sticks. And we will go ahead and put those in the middle of our copper ingots. Do we actually need to do it this way? Yeah, we do. Oh, that is so inefficient. Okay, well, we're gonna live with it. So that is our LV wire coil test done. Now we need to make up all of these other things. Wire connectors, did they change this recipe? No, it looks like terracotta is still what we're going to need here. That's easy enough because we have a bunch of clay, so we'll make up some terracotta. And in addition to that, the wire relay still, yeah, that's still terracotta. And the kinetic dynamo, iron, and aluminum with a copper coil block. Oh, so we're going to have to make a whole bunch more of those LV wire coils. That's going to be very expensive. All right, well, thankfully we have been making a whole lot of copper, so let me deal with that real quick, and we will meet back here in a second. So let's go ahead and wrap all of these like so. And you know what? We're just going to need a whole bunch of those. We only need 8, but I'm going to make some extras while we're at it, at least until we get that metal press up and running. So we take our iron ingots and put in the middle, and then we take half of these and wrap around, and that should give us a copper coil block. And then the copper coil block we can use to make that dynamo. Oh, we just need those redstone pieces. 2 pieces of redstone. Great. So use that, and there is our kinetic dynamo. All right. So the kinetic dynamo is an easy way for us to generate power, and we have a variety of choices as to how we end up generating that. We can do windmills, which is one way to do it, but I think we have enough hemp to do windmills. I remember these being relatively expensive. Water wheels I also love the look of. Now, how high up are we actually? Let's see here. Let's take a look at our journey map real quick. We are at Y64. So that's relatively high, but not really high enough to get the maximum power of a windmill. We're going to have to run way up into the sky if we are going to want to do that. So I think what we're going to do is set ourselves up a water wheel, or a series of water wheels. And maybe we do that right off the edge of this platform here where we already have the water flowing. That could look really, really cool. So let me see what I can do about setting up some sort of a space here for our water wheels. Now, I think I'm going to come over a little bit with it. So it's going to need to run down off of this edge here, over the top of the water wheel and back around. Now, this is where I have to remember my math on how this actually works, because we want it to go over the top of the water wheel itself, which means we need to be down a level from where we're at. We're also going to need to be forward a level, I think, from where we are at. So we might need to make a little pool of water. So to that end, let's go ahead and put in a regular plank. And I think we're going to have to be super dangerous and put some more planks underneath here, just like that, so that we can build on the top of it. And actually, we're going to end up going way lower than that, so we're going to want to come right back down the bottom. So careful not to drown and careful not to fall into the void. There we go. A nice long post coming down, just like so. Okay. So off of that, we should be able to build most of our stuff here. Let's go ahead and take these blocks out too. Okay. So I think our water wheel is going to be right on this edge. So if that's the top, we need to come down 2 blocks from that to go have the water come over it. So I think this is the block where we end up having the kinetic dynamo. Okay. Now let's come over with these. And maybe we just make ourselves like a little platform to stand on down here. Just to be able to figure this stuff out a little bit. There we go. That's totally safe. I'm sure this is perfectly fine. Okay. So here I think is where the water wheel is going to go. So let's put our kinetic dynamo on this. Great. Okay, so you can make up to 3 water wheels across when you're powering this. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Let's take our water wheels here, and yeah, we need 12 water wheel segments then. So that means we need to make ourselves up a few more sticks. And how many can we make here? That's 4, so that's 1 water wheel. And then we combined these in our crafting grid with steel. And that's going to make our water wheels proper. Good. And yeah, that completes that quest for us. So we have to make sure we have enough space for ourselves. And then I think we can put these into place here. Whoa! Falling off the map, falling off the map. And very carefully put this onto the side there and here. Okay, now we just have to get back up without dying. Okay, now I can already see here that although this is flowing, we put these 1 block too high. So we're gonna have to go back down here and drop everything down by 1 block. Okay, that should be the proper height for our water wheel, and then all we need to do here is add some infinite water source blocks right on top. And that'll kind of help this flow properly. Let's do this. There. So if this is indeed correctly set up, all we have to do is remove these extra blocks here, and it should start flowing properly. Alright, so there is our fully set up and complete water wheel, and now the water is flowing all the way down and all the way back through to a hole in the back side of this. You can kind of see the water coming out down here, and that's how you know it's going around 3 sides of this water wheel, meaning it's as efficient as it can get. So that is excellent. Now what we have to do is actually wire this thing up properly. And to do that, we are going to need to make ourselves the proper equipment here. So let's go ahead and complete these quests. Now we need our LV wire connectors and our LV wire relays. So I'm going to make a bunch of LV wire connectors. That's easy enough. I'm going to have to smelt a bunch of our clay. Let's go ahead and take this full stack of clay and turn it into terracotta. Now we don't have a drawer yet for it, so what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, make another storage drawer just for terracotta. Like so. We'll put this here, and this will go into our storage array right here. And yes, it automatically knew to start putting stuff in there, and we're going to lock that up tight. And now we have a bunch of terracotta. Basically, we just got a stack just that quickly. Wonderful. This jumbo furnace is working out very well for us. So let's grab those pieces up here. So let's make our connectors. Let's make another set of connectors. We're certainly going to use them. And let's make a bunch of wire relays as well. I think 8 will be okay to start. Now we need to start putting all of these things together. One last thing I want to do here. If you watched my previous series, you know what the problem is. I tend to electrocute myself all of the time. So I'm going to take a bunch of our leftover hemp fiber and make ourselves some wrappings for this. And oof, my inventory just keeps getting so full all of the time now. So let's go ahead and grab our hemp fibers and our sticks, and we're going to make some wrappings. So this is the tough fabric that we need. And I'll make more in a second here, but we want to use that with these and make ourselves some insulated wire coils. There we go. So these are less likely to electrocute us. I'm not going to say 100% not likely to electrocute us, but less likely. Now we are going to need to start hooking up all of our machines and setting all this stuff up. So I'm going to need to start running my wires around my base. I think I'm going to run that through here. So to do this, I'm going to just cut a hole in the floor, which, yeah, that's perfectly safe. No problem. And now I'm going to try and inch my way down here, just like so. Okay, so from down here, we can start connecting things up. So the first thing that we want to do is put an LV wire connector on the back of our dynamo, just like that. And you can see it's already getting power. So if I remember correctly, we can put a connector on the top of a block, put a connector on the bottom of a block, like so. And actually, I don't want that one there. That is a mistake. There we go. And if we grab up our engineer's hammer, I think that we can tell it that it can pass through the block, just like so. And that puts that brown spot on it on both sides. Now when I connect my wires to this, the wire is going to pass into the bottom of the block, and I can connect off the top of it as well. So that's going to serve us very, very, very nicely. Okay, so that's how our power is going to be coming out of the system. And now if we're going to start putting our machines together, I think we're going to put them, I don't know, probably somewhere over there or something. So what we're going to do is come up a few more blocks off of this edge here, like this. And I'm just going to put a wooden block right at the top of that. And what I'm going to do is use that for my connector point so I can start running power around the base. So let's put our LV wire relay at the very top of that, and we will connect our insulated cables off of that one to this. Okay, great. And that should be high enough. I think it's high enough to run over the top Yeah, over the top of this blast furnace as well. So now we can start setting up our various other machines. And I'm going to put another LV wire relay at the bottom of that. And now we connect up that with our insulated wire cable again, all the way over to this one. And you can see it just goes nicely over top of that. And now we're ready to put together our machine press. Now, if I remember correctly, it is a steel scaffolding on either side. A redstone engineering block goes on the bottom. We have a pair of conveyor belts that go either side here in the direction that it'll be facing. We're going to put a heavy engineering block on top with a piston on top of that. The piston is always the most awkward part of this to place because it never wants to face the right direction. So the easiest way to do is to put a temporary block in the way of where the piston is going to go, break it, and then put the piston in the right direction like that. And then all you have to do is whack the piston and you have a metal press. Perfect. Now, to actually use the metal press, we need to make ourselves some of these plates, the molds for them. So a plate mold and a gear mold and a wire mold, and I guess a rod mold. I don't remember using the rod mold for much of anything, but it's certainly there. Now, before we can do that, we need to make ourselves a engineer's workbench, which we make with an engineer's crafting table. So we're going to need some treated wood slabs, some treated wood sticks. I think that'll be enough for now. And that's how we make this part of it. Oh, and a crafting table. Let's do regular wood planks for that. Just like so. And then all we need is a treated wood fence. So more sticks. Wrap those in planks. There's our fence. And just one iron ingot from our collection. And there we go. One engineer's workbench. Easy enough. Let's put this down. Oh, not there. Let's put it down one block further back. There we go. Great. Now, this thing we're going to need to make our engineer's blueprints. Not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one, but this one. Okay, so we need an iron plate for that. And that means we need a plate mold. There's got to be another way to make this. I'm clearly missing something here. Ah, we could just make it with a whole bunch of steel. Oof, that is an expensive recipe. I don't love that. Okay, so we make a donut shape, and that gives us our press. Okay, and now we have too much stuff in our inventory once again, so let's just dump that for now. Wonderful. Now, we take our press, and we just whack it into this machine, and there we go. Now we can make metal plates with it, with no additional things really needed, except for one very, very important thing, which is power. If you don't put a connector on top and then connect the connector up, you're not going to get any power to the machine, and the machine will not do anything. So connect there to there, and now it has power. Perfect. So let's put a couple of chests on this real fast. And that will actually automate the input and the output for us. So let's automate this by putting a extracting conveyor belt here and a chest on the back of that so that we can pull items out. And then we're going to put a chest right on the front, and that's going to put items in. So in theory now, if I want to make an iron plate, I can just drop iron in there. And there we go. We're just going to make iron plates. Perfect. And that actually completes the next quest for us. So we've got that, we've got that. And do we have steel hanging around? Do we have some steel? Yeah, let's go and make a steel plate while we're at it. That'll get that quest done. Perfect. Another happy quest complete. All right, so the one thing I want to do last here is grab our lapis and some paper and get that blueprint so that we can complete the blueprint quest. So 1, 2, 3 pieces of lapis. Turn those into blue dye. Let's clear out our extra inventory real fast. And then grab 3 pieces of paper. We're going to trade that out for all of our treated wooden bits that we've got laying around. And now these plus our iron plate will give us our engineer's molds blueprint. Wonderful. That completes that quest. And with our metal press automation complete, I think that's a great place to stop this episode. We've done a lot for our automation and setting up our belts everywhere, running all of our various ingredients around to be smelted and pressed and compressed. We even have power now, finally, at long last. So I think we're at a really great stopping point. We will finish the rest of this particular quest line in the next episode. So thanks again for watching Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends!